Hi everyone, welcome to Jolene's Kitchen. I'm Judy. This is Jolene.
Hi.
Hi. We're going to be making some banana bread today. I hope that you guys have your recipe and all your ingredients ready and you can cook along with us. The first thing you need to do, the most important thing, is read your entire recipe from beginning to end before you even start, so that you know exactly what you're going to be doing and you're not surprised later on. So the first thing our recipe says here is preheat the oven to 375. I'll get that one. And then it says lightly butter or spray the bottom and sides of a 9-inch loaf pan. You got that one? Okay, that's Jolene. That looks good. That's plenty. Okay, so then it says place the butter and sugar in a large mixing bowl, and it's half a cup of butter. So you want to take the butter out of the wrapper, and you're probably going to have to, that's really nice soft butter, you may need to scrape the wrapper. Yeah, go ahead and just, here, the easiest thing. Yeah, put it down on the counter. Yeah, and then just scrape that into the bowl. There you go. And then sugar. You need a cup of sugar. Here, I'm going to grab you a spoon too because that thing is really full. Help you dump it in there. Okay, and then you know what, yep, you know what to do with the fork or the knife. Upside down, because that side's curved, you want the flat side. There you go, perfect. In the bowl. All right, so then just use the mixer, get the mixer in there, and you know, because we've done this before, to keep the beaters down in the bowl and in the butter part first, and keep it real straight up. Okay, turn it on. There you go, and keep it in the butter first. Keep it, yeah, straight up and down, and slowly bring in the sugar, because otherwise what happens?
It will go everywhere.
Yep, it flies all over the place. It's worse with flour than with sugar. So now you're supposed to mix this for 1 minute or until the flour and the sugar are completely mixed. And if you guys, can they see this? If you guys can see this, this is starting to get, it's starting to get mixed, but this is not as mixed as you would want it. And this is called creaming the butter and sugar. You want it to be...
It smells yummy.
It always smells yummy. Okay, let's turn it up just a bit and then make sure you keep the mixer up like that. So now move it around. Sometimes it's easier if you put your hand in like that.
Oh, no.
Yeah. It's easier to control it for me. Okay, see how it's all starting to come together better now than it was before? It doesn't, it looks more like one thing. Okay, I think that's good. So now you can shut off the mixer. And now it says to add you don't have to scrape it off, just keep it over the bowl. Okay, it says to add 2 eggs. So you're going to crack the egg into a separate bowl.
Why do we crack one egg in the bowl?
Because in case, first of all, you get some eggshell in there, or if the egg is bad, then you only have to throw away 1 egg. You don't have to throw away everything you already have in the bowl, which would be sad. Good job. Okay, now dump that one in. Good. Next egg. Good job. You didn't break either one. Very nice. I'll take that out of the way.
Thank you.
Okay, now Now you're going to mix it again. It says for 1 minute or until it's smooth is what it says. And this time it's going to get kind of fluffy. Put your hand in the, yeah, do that again, because it's much easier to keep it straight. And then go over and grab that butter that's over there and pull that down in. You can use the scraper if you want. Whoops. But yeah, I was gonna say, but it's really pretty easy to keep that stuff mixed in. Yeah, there you go. Good job. Good job. Now, I would turn it up a notch or two and keep going. Yeah. And see how it's starting to get a little fluffy? That's what you want. And I would keep going just a little bit more. Here, I'll give you a scrape here. I'm going to spin the bowl, get all that stuff down in there.
This is already looking yummy.
Yes, it does. Does it smell good yet? Does it?
No.
Okay. All right, I think that's good. So go ahead and shut it off. And now, time for the bananas. So you're just going to peel the bananas and then throw them in whole. Do not throw them in without peeling them. That would be bad. It'd be very lumpy.
And yucky.
Yeah, and yucky. Here, I'll take the peels. Thank you. Keep going. Yeah, you particularly want to get these pieces off because these pieces are bitter. So they would not make your banana bread delicious. And what's the point if it's not delicious, right? And we don't want these little ends either. Pull those out. Okay, now, kind of scrunch them a little bit with the mixer. Yeah, just go break them apart a little bit. Now, and on the bananas, while she's doing that, on the bananas, these are ripe enough for banana bread, but you can use bananas that are almost black. You could use bananas that are black, as long as they're not moldy. The darker they are, the sweeter they are, and the more banana flavor you're going to get out of them. So, okay, you think you got it scrunched enough that you could turn it on? Okay. Start on low and try and bust those bigger pieces up. And now what you want to do is you want to just keep mixing it until you don't have any pieces left that are bigger than like a half an inch. So the whole point is just keep going after the big pieces to scrunch them up. You could, if you want, mash the bananas ahead of time with a fork in a cup or a bowl. I don't because I'm lazy and it's another bowl to wash. So we just do it this way. How you doing there?
Good.
I'm going to click you up one notch. You ready? Okay, go. Now, when you mix the bananas in, you see that the texture completely changes. I don't know if you guys can see it on the TV, but those of you guys that are making it at home can see it kind of almost starts to break a little bit. It changes the way the batter looks. But that'll change back once we put the...
It kind of looks like a banana smoothie.
Looks like a banana smoothie, kind of, yeah. Except for, you know, a very buttery banana smoothie. I think we're close. I think that's pretty good. You ready? Okay, let's shut it off. Okay, next thing, 1 teaspoon of baking soda. That's right behind you. And a half a teaspoon of salt. Here, I'll grab the salt for you. So, baking soda is...
This one?
This is 1 teaspoon. So this is for the baking soda, this is for the salt. And remember to scrape it off on the top, yeah, so that it comes out flat. Turn it around like that. And here, scrape it off on the edge of this box like this. That's why they do that. Whoops. There was a lump in it. There we go, perfect. Baking soda is a leavener. Baking powder is another. Baking soda and baking powder work in very similar ways. They are leaveners. They cause the liquid in this batter will cause a chemical reaction that makes carbon dioxide bubbles form, and that's what makes your, in this case, banana bread rise, or cakes. So the baking soda and baking powder work in the same way, but they are not the same. So if you're be careful. If your recipe says baking soda, use baking soda. Baking powder, baking soda is generally used for things that are more acid. Baking powder is used for things that are more base, but doesn't matter. Just know they're not the same. So, okay, go ahead, turn the mixer on and just mix it up real fast. Just kind of get it spread around evenly. Okay, and then go ahead and shut it off. Now the other thing is, both baking powder and baking soda have a limited time frame. So they will only produce that chemical reaction for a little while. So you don't want to put this stuff in and then walk away and come back in a half an hour and finish the banana bread, because the baking, the process of the carbon dioxide bubbles forming will stop and you'll end up with a brick. It won't rise. There you go. All right. Here we got that in there. So it's 2 cups of flour. You got your trusty knife over here. You got that? One thing, when you're measuring flour, don't pack it in. It's important for it to be lighter. A lot of times I'll kind of even like stir it up a little bit like that, or you get too much flour and it will just be heavy. Okay, 2nd cup. Excellent. Mix it up.
Judy, can you also mix this by hand?
You could mix it by hand. It just takes a lot longer.
Yeah.
I think about back when my grandmother was first cooking, and they didn't have, well, they didn't have electricity, but they sure didn't have electric mixers. And I think about her making an angel food cake where she had to stand and whip those egg whites, and it would take a half an hour of standing there and whipping egg whites. I could not do that. I don't have that much strength and stamina anymore. We've gotten lazy. So how you think we're doing?
Good.
You want to give it a scrape? Scrape, 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 scrape. Spin the bowl. Scrape, scrape. You think we're there?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, take the beaters and here. You have to press here. Okay. So that's done. And so then kind of do, oops. That's how the book gets all sticky. Good enough? Okay, now we're going to bring our pan over here that you sprayed earlier, and you're going to pour it in. You want me to hold the bowl?
Yeah.
Okay. You know, I didn't say anything. On this recipe, we put a gluten-free recipe out there also for this, and the gluten-free recipe is almost exactly the same. I mean, it bakes, the procedures are all extremely similar to what this is. When on some of the other things that we're going to do later on other days, the procedures are quite a bit different. Like on the pizza dough, the gluten-free pizza dough, it doesn't have to rise. So they get pizza a whole lot faster than we do. All right, so here, when you're using the scraper, scrape around like that, because you want all the goodness in there. Scrape it like that, and then smooth it as much as you can in the pan. Yep. That's what that piece was for. That's why I dropped it on there, so you could taste it. Okay, what you want to try to do, be careful about getting stuff on the sides, because that will cook, it will get crunchy. Yeah, but just smooth it out. And that is it. That is what we have to do. Okay, I'm going to push this into this corner just a little bit. Okay. And then I'm going to do that, and I'm going to do that. And we're done. You ready to put it in the oven? The oven is preheated. You want to put it in?
Sure.
You got the hot pads here? You ready? Top shelf.
Top.
Yep. Push it in a little further. Needs to be kind of in the middle. Excellent. That's perfect. And then we're going to set the timer for 15 minutes. This is going to cook. It's going to cook for 15 minutes at 375. And then when this beeps, we're going to turn it down to 350. And then it's going to cook for another 45 minutes. But in the meantime, we have another one here. And this is how, I think it says to turn it out onto a cake rack, or this is what my mom always used to do. Dump it sideways onto a cutting board, and then after it's cooled for about a half an hour or so, flip it over on the other side and let it cool, and then you can cut it. This one is, you can cut when it's still kind of warm. The gluten-free one, make sure you let it cool completely, or it gets really crumbly. But the gluten-free banana bread is quite delicious. I tested the recipe earlier this weekend. We don't have very much of it left. How's that? So it was good. And I believe that's all we have today. So we have made banana bread. I hope you guys have had some fun. Got your banana bread, or you should have your banana bread in about an hour. And that's it. We will see you next week when we're going to make pizza dough, right? Pizza dough. With, what are we putting on our pizza?
Pepperoni.
Pepperoni? Okay. Pepperoni pizza is what we're going to be making. So we will see you next week.